Hiya, Angie here. How you all doing? I hope you're all doing fabulously. Now today I'm going to be talking about control within a relationship. You know, sometimes you get that niggly feeling that something's not quite right. You can't quite put your finger on it, but you know that something is definitely off. Well, today we're going to be talking about those tactics used in a relationship to manipulate and control a partner. Some of them are sneaky red flags that can fly under the radar for years. Now, I will be talking about control from a woman's perspective, that the woman is the one being controlled. But to be clear, and let me say it again, to be clear, women, we can be manipulative and controlling too. Absolutely, there is no doubt about that. But for clarity and for narrative reasons, I will be using a woman's perspective. Now, I am not a therapist. I am just someone who's been around for a long time. I've seen many relationships come and go. I talk to people, people talk to me, they tell me their stories, they tell me their experiences, they write to me, I study, I read up. I'm passionate, and I'm very passionate about women's well-being, women's safety, and women's mental health when it comes to relationships. So if you think that you are being controlled and you want to know more, this is the one for you. Or maybe you're the one that's doing the controlling and you want to know more. Maybe you didn't realize that you were doing it. You have your own issues, such as abandonment issues and fears and other things too. Whatever it is, if you're ready, I'm ready. And by now you know what to do. And that is, don't go anywhere. So you decide to spend the day at your family's house and you tell your partner and he agrees with it and he's fine. He stays home and you go to your family. As soon as you reach there, the phone starts ringing. Hi baby, what you doing? I'm at my family's house. Okay, so who's there? So how long you gonna be? I don't know. I'm gonna spend the day. Okay, well I'll talk to you later. 10 minutes later, the phone rings again. And it's a constant blowing up your phone. Now your family is looking at you sideways and they're saying, so didn't he know you were coming to see us today? You say, yeah. They say, okay. You're embarrassed. You don't know what to do. You want to turn off the ringer, but you know that that will just cause a whole new set of problems when you get home. So you just sit there and you put up with it. This is controlling behavior. This kind of behavior is rooted in insecurity. He's jealous, he's possessive, and he's threatened by your time spent with others. It's a form of emotional manipulation, and you need to keep an eye on it because it could spiral out into something a little bit more aggressive, such as emotional abuse, and we don't want that. So be careful and ask for help if necessary. Now, the Good Samaritan, everybody loves him. He is such a nice guy. Your colleagues adore him and they're jealous because every evening he is there at random times coming to pick you up from work. And everybody's saying, I wish my partner would come and get me. I wish my partner was so attentive. But the truth is, that can be a form of control too. Now, I'm not talking about if you only have maybe one car and you decide to split the time and he comes to pick you up. Or it's something that you decide together that he come and gets you. Of course, that's not control. And that's not what we're talking about. What we're talking about is someone who systematically and without warning, and he comes and picks you up and he looks around to find out who works there, how many males work there. When you get home, he gives you the third degree. What's so-and-so's name? Who's that guy in the grey jumper? Do you work with him? How many times a day do you see him? Do you like him? Is he friendly? Do you think he's good looking? That kind of thing. That's what we're talking about. That's the kind of control that we're talking about. And believe me, it is control. I had a friend that every month or every 6 weeks or so, she would organize a girls' night out. And we would go to different places. Every time we saw each other, we would kind of switch it up, a bar, a club, depending on what we were in the mood for. And after a while, she met someone, and he seemed like a nice enough guy. Then when we started to have our girls' night out, he would just turn up. And she would say, "What are you doing here?" And he would say, "Well, I was in the area." You're right. "And I just thought that I would drop by. How long do you think you're going to be?" And she'd say, "Well, I don't know. I'm just here with the girls. We're just hanging out. Whenever we think it's time to leave, we'll leave." And he used to say, "Well, do you want me to hang around? Do you want me to stay back and give you a lift?" And she'd say, "No, I'm fine. I have my car." And it'd be okay. Now, sometimes he would leave. But most of the times, he would sit outside in his car and wait for us to come out. That, again, is a sign of control. He needed to know who she was with. Did she meet anybody at this bar? How long was she in there for? What was she like? What was her condition when she came out? All this is control and a lack of respect for boundaries. He needed to control who she was seeing and what she was doing. And more importantly, he was jealous that she wasn't spending time with him. So again, this form of control is another one to keep our eye on. Now, sometimes when you're in a relationship, you might come to the point where, you know what, you've had enough. And when one person in the relationship starts to pull away and they're thinking about ending things, suddenly the partner transforms into the picture perfect significant other, doing all those things he never did before. Taking out the trash, putting up the shelves, remembering anniversaries. He starts showering you with compliments and gifts. It's like they flipped a switch and suddenly become everything that you wanted them to be. Here's the catch though. It's the last ditch effort to try and gain control. They're not changing for the right reasons. They're changing to try and manipulate you into staying. They're using your own desires against you. Imagine that. Making you think, "Oh, okay, they've got it. Maybe finally they understand. Maybe they're finally the kind of person I always thought they could be and wanted them to be." But you know what though? Real change doesn't happen overnight. It takes time, it takes effort, and it takes a genuine desire to change. So if you see this sudden shift in behavior, don't be fooled. It's not about you. It's all about them and them trying to hold on to their control. Now let's be honest. None of us like to be criticized. It can hurt sometimes, sting a little bit, right? But the truth is that every now and again, a bit of constructive criticism can be a good thing. It can help us grow. It can help us be better versions of ourselves. But when criticism becomes constant and relentless and is directed towards every aspect of our being, that's the sign of a controlling partner. They will nitpick your appearance, your intelligence, your choices, your hobbies, basically everything and anything about you. They may disguise their criticism as being helpful, as saying, "I just wanted to help. I'm just being honest." That is something that I cannot stand, when people are nitpicking at you and they have the heart to open their mouths and tell you, "I'm just being honest," like as if that changes anything, like as if that makes it easier to swallow. It doesn't. It's just annoying. Yes, so they just pretend that they want to help you. They just want to help you improve. But the truth is, and the underlying message is, you're just not good enough. This constant criticism can erode our self-esteem, making us doubt our worth and question our every move. But don't go there. Don't do that. Believe in yourself. You know, the other day I was on my phone and I was scrolling through YouTube and a video came up. It was one of those faceless videos, and usually I wouldn't have watched it. But these quotes came up and the writing flashed across the screen. And these quotes were really beautiful. And I was hooked and I kept listening. And the person narrating these quotes had such a lovely voice that I was transfixed. I really was. And a quote came up and it's been on my mind ever since. And for all of those people who sit there and let somebody tear them down with this constant criticism and they feel bad about themselves, I just want you to bear in mind this. There will always be someone who can't see your worth. Don't be one of them. Now, emotional manipulators are masters at making you feel guilty or responsible for their emotions. They are always the victim, and you are always the someone who has done something wrong. They'll sulk, they'll cry, they'll throw tantrums, they'll scream, all of that just to get you to give in to their demands. They might even threaten to hurt themselves. And that really is the worst, because if they did do something to hurt themselves, of course you're going to feel guilty. And that is a whole lot of weight to carry around. It's a toxic cycle of guilt, obligation, and fear. Remember, you are not responsible for anyone else's emotions. You're not responsible for their happiness. You're not their therapist. And you're definitely not their punching bag. You deserve to be with someone who takes responsibility for their own feelings and doesn't use them as a weapon against you. Now, pretty similar to the one before, guilt tripping is a form of emotional manipulation. It's a manipulation tactic designed to make you feel responsible for their happiness, for their well-being, and even for their shortcomings. They'll say things like, well, if you loved me, you would, or after everything that I've done for you, you treat me like this. Oh yeah, they'll play the martyr and make you feel constantly obligated to cater to their needs and their desires. But as I said before, you're not responsible for their happiness. You're not obligated to sacrifice your own needs and your own desires to calm their guilt trips and to make them feel better. You deserve to be in a relationship where you are loved and appreciated for who you are, not for what you can do for the other person. Now, for those who know me, know that I am a sucker for a good romantic movie. I just love them. You know, all those Hallmark movies, although I do prefer ones with a little bit more oomph. But you know, the Hallmark movies, they're cute. And when the guy is that kind of strong, silent type who doesn't talk much, he doesn't say much. When he does answer the leading lady, he's a little curt, he's a little bit harsh, he's a little bit hard in his tones. Well, when it comes to the movies, that's fine. I like that. But in real life, I don't think so. There is nothing worse than you trying to talk to someone, trying to communicate, trying to get them to tell you how they're feeling, or you're trying to tell them how you're feeling, and they're not replying to you. They're not answering back. They're giving you the silent treatment. Let me tell you something. That is something that drives me crazy. I'm not having it. And then when you're ready to talk, you're going to talk to who? To me? I don't think so. But anyway, yes, that too is a form of control. I will decide when I talk to you. I will keep you on tenterhooks. I will keep you there with the anxiety, with you hoping to get my approval and all of that. And for some people, it really is hard to have someone there with them in the room, looking at them, who's not talking to them, who's giving them the silent treatment. And they will just apologize just for apologizing's sake, even though they did nothing wrong and they have no clue why the person isn't talking. But just to get the person to talk to them again, just to get the person's approval again, they will apologize and they will say sorry. And it keeps some people in fear. And that's why they do it. It's all a tactic of keeping control. Now this is another one that is pretty similar to the one before. And that is to withhold affection. Now this too is a classic control move. It uses affection to punish and to manipulate you. Maybe they give you the silent treatment. Maybe they withhold sex and intimacy as a way to get you to comply with their demands. They might even shower you with affection 1 minute, then completely withdraw it the next. So of course, it leaves you feeling confused and insecure. This creates a power imbalance that leaves the other person almost begging for approval. When withholding affection is used as a tool against you, it can cause loneliness and disconnection, making it hard for you to seek support from others. This kind of behavior is an enormous red flag and indicates issues of control and emotional abuse. Now let's talk about money, because money equals power, right? And there are some people that will use your own paycheck against you by controlling you. Now this can look like a lot of different things. Maybe they insist on being the main breadwinner, keeping you financially dependent on them. Or they control all the finances, limiting your access to money and making you ask permission for every little purchase. And they might even sabotage your career too, discouraging you from pursuing opportunities that might give you more financial independence. Now this kind of control is subtle because it chips away at your sense of worth and autonomy. It makes you feel trapped and powerless, and that's a horrible place to be. You deserve financial freedom and respect, right? If your partner is using money to control you, that is a big red flag. Financial control can be incredibly damaging. It not only limits your ability to make decisions, but also erodes your confidence and your independence. Financial abuse is a serious issue, and it's important that we recognize it for what it is. If you find yourself constantly having to justify your spending, or if you feel guilty for wanting financial independence, then maybe it's time to take a step back and evaluate your situation. You deserve to have control over your own finances and your own life, don't you think? Now finally, I could not do a video about control and not put in gaslighting. What is gaslighting? Well, gaslighting is a form of manipulation that has you questioning your own sanity. They will deny your sanity. They will twist your words. They will make you doubt your own memories. They'll deny saying something that you know that they said it. You heard it, but nope, They will deny it. They will swear blind. I don't know why, but when I think about gaslighting, I think about that old Eddie Murphy stand-up comedy video. And I think I saw it back in 1988. So we're talking about, it's a really old one. He was talking about somebody who was cheating. I don't know whether it was him or somebody else. I can't remember. And the woman actually saw the person cheating. And he said, "Are you going to believe me or your lying eyes?" How many of you remember that Eddie Murphy video? It's going back a bit, it really is. Now, over time, these distortions can chip away at your self-esteem and self-worth and make you feel like you're going crazy. You start to question your own judgment and even your own sanity. And that in itself is just incredible. It's nuts. And it takes a special kind of mind to want to put somebody through something like that. Gaslighting is incredibly damaging and it can take a long time to recover from. Well, ladies and gentlemen, there you go. There you have it. Thank you so much for being with me today. If you enjoyed this video, I would love to hear from you. I would love to hear from you gentlemen too. If you've had experience with controlling women, if you have, drop a comment down below. I would love to read them. Thank you so much for stopping by. It was good seeing you. It always is. And I look forward to seeing you again soon. But until then, be kind to yourself and to others. Take care. Bye for now. Ciao.